you've been home for a good 5 or 6 days. Have you watched anything back yet, or you seen little clips, or what happened?
I've watched some live feeds, and I'm telling you, my feelings is a little hurt watching some of these crazy live feeds.
And
if you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want, 'cause your heart's made of gold. But don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
How did your game change for, I'm going to say the better, when you joined the Mafia with Matt and I? Oh.
Previously on Big Brother 25 has come to an end, sadly and thankfully. And now we have the postseason to look forward to. So this is going to be a very special Big Brother breakdown with Jolene, that's me, where we are going to be looking at an Instagram live that Mimi did with Felicia, and she gave Felicia an interview that unfortunately puts Julia Moonves to shame. Mimi asked all the right questions and Felicia delivered the way that only Felicia can, in a humorous way while spilling a lot of tea about this season and the week that she's been out the house and her thoughts. And we have been waiting for this, and hopefully more of the house guests do this sort of thing, because a lot of them just want to get on TikTok and battle with each other, and we know that is boring. We want you to talk about the season, and we want to see how you feel post-season, and these are the most interesting weeks because you have the house guests out of the house now, able to watch live feeds, watch episodes, and talk to friends and family and fans who watch the feeds, and find out things in the house that they might have thought were true that actually weren't true. So sit back, relax, and enjoy all of the mess Felicia is delivering to us in the Big Brother postseason kitchen. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe.
And I actually just finished watching episode 2. So I'm just, every couple of days I'll watch an episode or two and just see the episodes. But Dwayne, I'm telling you, remember I was saying, oh no, they ain't watching live feeds. Girl, all my family, my friends, they said they never turn the TV off.
Listen, my husband was the same. I was like, my husband probably ain't watching the live feeds. He ain't watching live feeds before we. Oh yeah, no, they are watching those. Okay, so what has surprised you the most that you've learned since coming out and watching a little bit? Like, what are you most surprised by so far?
Well, actually, it's just what I thought. From day one, people were establishing alliances. I mean, but we didn't realize how deep those alliances were really going. The lies started on day one.
Oh, yeah.
Day one. And so while everybody kept saying, oh, it's too soon to align, we shouldn't do this and we shouldn't do that, man, people was rocking and rolling from the very beginning. I just didn't realize how tough they really were. And I don't know how I didn't pick up that Jared was Cirie's son.
Well, you know what? I think for the viewers, it's easy for them to they know. Right. So they're like, how do you not know? Right. But for us, I wasn't looking for that.
Exactly.
So unless you're looking for it, then you would know. But I personally wasn't looking for it. So I literally, until Julie told me, I didn't have a clue.
And see, that's what I told Dwayne. I said, you don't go in the house believing that somebody has a relative in there. Mm-mm. So you ain't looking for that.
No.
And so even though I said, well, as soon as they said it and I looked at them, I said, oh my God. And they look exactly alike. But still, you're not thinking. I don't go in looking around saying, oh, I bet that's her son. Oh, I bet that's their daughter. You never register. Never.
When I was evicted and Julie told me, I said, oh, Julie.
Girl.
And I said, so much stuff makes sense now.
Yes. Remember, I kept trying to figure out, what is it? I thought I had a connection with Jared, and then all of a sudden it was like he shifted to Cirie. What is that? Well, that was his mama. Had I known that, I'd have played that game completely different.
It was crazy.
So she's offended, thinking I'm trying to take the place of mama, and she mama.
Listen, when I tell you I was shook. Okay.
Shook.
I was shook when I was shook. I was like, oh, so many things. The first thing that I thought about was the wall comp. And remember the wall comp, and look, Jared just joined. Jared, we talk about this twist chat. We didn't know that Miss Cirie was your mama, Jay Bleezy, on the wall comp. I remember the wall comp. Jared won. And I remember her like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
And I turned around, I was looking
even sat over there and she did a come on God and we prayed. And then the next thing you know, he won. But what I didn't realize is when I said, oh my God, he reminds me so much of Jair. This is my son in the house. You my second son. I was offending her. And it makes sense because that was her real son.
Well, I don't know if it was offensive, but the fact that they knew and we didn't know, it was just like, listen, I had no idea. I had no idea. And as soon as Julie told me, the first thing that I thought back to was the wall comp. I was like, oh my God, I remember how hard she was cheering during the wall comp.
Yes.
To me.
And I remember how hard she was cheering when they did the zombies.
Yeah.
And I remember, I also remember when, you know, seeing it, watching back and realizing that Izzy picked up on it as soon as she walked in the house and was goofy enough to go tell him, I know that's your son. I know Cirie's your mama. I'd have kept that to my damn self. I'd have known it as a secret and never let him know I knew.
You know, the crazy thing is that I've seen all of her seasons on Survivor and had seen the family episodes.
Yes. Me too.
That just never registered to me. Like
never.
It literally never registered to me. Well, listen, you know, you're a whole icon out here like that. When I came out, I'm like, oh, Mama Feet is it's not even an icon for the reasons that you think. It's not because you, one of 3 women to win HOH. You the blockbuster child. You got all of us on up out of there. You made it to Final Four, all of the odds stacked against you. It is because you have this viral, in my mind, chart-topping song, fucking boy Jay, fucking boy Jay, fucking boy Jay, fucking boy Jay.
I saw that and said, OMG. And I'd be hollering. I said I need to upload that thing to my page and just have it sitting out there. Fucking Bowie J. No. Fucking Bowie J. Fucking Bowie J. No. Fucking Bowie J. Where's the bye-bye bitches? Today. No. Turn our lights out. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Blueberries, strawberries, all of that shit. But I've got, I've started Cameo and I've already done I got like 20 requests. I still got about 6 or 7 to do. And just people are like, oh my God, Mama Fee, you were so entertaining. And just, I'm glad I was actually just able to bring a smile to people's face. That's all I really want to do. And I feel like I stayed true to me as much as I could. I ain't saying I never lied, but I tried my best not to let that be my game. And so, I know some people were offended. Some people like you. Some people don't. You can't do nothing about that. I just did the best to play my game and to be me.
Oh, half of you got to go. You got to go by noon today.
We got the dog. Oh, y'all done set it up. Y'all set it straight to the office.
Yeah, we heard the dog.
Have you had time to reflect yet on game moves and certain things that happen in the game, or are you still just taking in all the information yet? Because I done did some reflecting.
I have done some reflecting in the sense that I realized I really did talk too much, but I knew that when I was in the house.
And he wonders why he didn't naturally connect. His only connection is being HOH. Mm-hmm. That's what keeps people in the room with him. When he's not HOH, they don't stay in the room with him. And then as soon as he makes HOH, they get back in the room with him. I hope y'all is catching all of this. He ain't no damn player. He is not a master player. He has no personality. He has no nothing. He doesn't draw people to him. The only thing he has is the ability to win competitions. And half these guys aren't playing because they don't want to win, because they don't want to have to show their hand, because they don't want to piss anybody off. So
maybe just a tiny bit, just a little bit.
I fed too much information to people. Aside from that, if I went back, I'd probably play pretty similar the same game. Just be slower to try to align with people and really get to know who people are, so I get a better feel for when they telling the truth and when they lying. Because I realize that, it's crazy. All along, I actually really truly believed I had some of these friendships that now looking at some live feeds were never really there. You were the most genuine person in the house to me and for me. And girl, you don't know how I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
That's for real, Mimi. I even had a couple of my girlfriends that I was in the military with. They called me today and they said, just so if you want to tell us, they said, who do you actually think was really the truest, loyal, friendliest person to you in the house that you think you'll stay friends with? I said, Mimi. I said, Mimi is probably the only one in there that I can say I truly trusted and believed in. I said, and in the beginning, I wasn't sure where we stood because after Kirsten got sent out, I said, I thought they were kind of close. So we were kind of treading water, not knowing where you stood and knowing how tight you wanted to get and all of that. And it was probably about week 4 or 5 before I actually felt like I could really connect with you. And after that, once you and me connected, once that Izzy thing happened, it was you and me all the way. It was you and me all the way. Because even though I was still rolling with Cirie and Jared, and I don't know if Jared is still live on here, but even though I really wanted to believe in them, my gut was always telling me I was getting thrown under the bus. It always. And I think that's why I had a hard time staying true to them, because I never totally trusted them after that.
Do you remember the conversation that we had? This may have been the week. This may have been the week that you and Izzy were on the block, like before, like the vote was flipping and all of that.
Yeah.
And you were sitting on my bed, and I think this is before the veto, actually, because we had to. This is before the veto, and you were like, something in my gut is telling me that this brown sugar babe thing isn't as solid as we think it is. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I remember us having that conversation.
Absolutely.
No, I don't think so. Like, I think we're good. Like, I think everything is okay. I think we're in a good space. And then this is before the veto. So then, like, on Tuesday, I have that conversation with Corey, and Corey's like, oh, well, the plan is to evict Mama Fee over Izzy, and this, that, and the third, and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh, Mama Fee was right. Oh my God.
The one thing I did trust in the house was every time I got that gut feeling about something, I was right.
On my bed. Remember I asked you?
Give me the spray.
I asked you not to.
I didn't know it was going to come out.
You're about to
I know, but you got to get up.
Now, a lot of times I couldn't pinpoint where the chaos was coming from, but I always knew. And after a while, I could even tell who it was coming from, what it was about, because that's when I really started watching behavior. And I said all along, you ain't really got a whole conversation, just watch how people start acting. And when people start removing themselves from the room, the conversation gets less, they start feeding you less information, and you feel like now people you align with, they getting information from you, but they ain't telling you nothing. And that's when I started saying, oh, okay, I think I could be in trouble. And again, the two people that I thought I initially was the closest to were the two that were really using my relationship with them against me.
Well, let me say this. Part of me, because I had a conversation, and I told you this, I had a conversation with Jared when he had won the veto.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, obviously, if either one of them goes down, Miss Cirie goes up. With us three, me, Jared, Miss Cirie, our votes, and I think maybe you needed 5 votes.
Yes.
I don't remember what it was. I think maybe you needed 5 votes.
I needed 5 votes, yes.
Our 3 votes, I feel confident that we can get these other 2 votes. And using the veto might expose you in a way that could be detrimental, because this is after, and like, wait, let me take it back, because this is after the Hisam and Red thing happens, right?
Right.
I'm like, we are now in a position where, as far as men who are on our side and aligned with us, Jared is now the strongest, capable, able. He's, you know what I mean?
Yes,
He's the strongest for us on this side. So I don't know if it's smart for you to put, you as in Jared, for you to put yourself in a position where you could be targeted, because then the rest of us are chopped liver. So this is the conversation that I was having with Jared. But let me a little bit, because I think that for me, early on in the game, the professors stood a really good chance.
They really did. They really did.
I really feel like we had everything that we needed to make it
all
far.
The way to the final 7.
Everything that we needed to make it far. And now in hindsight, obviously you made it to final 4, so it just is what it is. But now in hindsight, in terms of the Hisam vote, like, how did that, from your perspective, how did it just change the landscape of the game when we evicted Hisam? Like, what do you think happened?
Well, even though sometimes a part of me does wish that maybe I had not evicted Hisam. I'll be honest, from the very beginning, I had a connection with Hisam and I loved Hisam to death. He just started getting so strong in his gameplay and trying to control everything and everybody. And I think that's when we really got into everybody has to vote the same. And we got to have this unanimous votes. And then you got to tell them what to do. And he wanted to start telling everybody how to vote. And that's when everybody was afraid to make their own decision. That really was something that made me say, I don't know about Hisam. Because one, we had said in that room that day in the comic room, okay, we're in an alliance. We can't get in any other alliances. Any information we get, we got to come back and feed it to everybody in the room. And then we find out that Hisam has all these other alliances that he's trying to connect with all these other people. And so it's like, no, wait a minute. You got information that we don't have. You want us to feed you everything we know, and you align with 2/3 of the house, but you don't want us to be aligned with anybody. And that's where I think my gut feeling said, even though I think he would be a strong player for us, and it might carry us to all of us to the end, you never know when he might flip and you become one of his targets. And that was my fear. And so it's like, it seemed like once that happened, though, it just broke our whole, now nobody trusted anybody. And then after the red vote, we were really done.
Listen, you ain't watched all the episodes back yet, so you'll see I had these little moments in the storage room. I was so mad about the Hisam vote. I was like, no, why are we going after Hisam? We did not need to go after. We needed to. Well, personally, on a personal level, I love Hisam, and obviously you love Hisam. We all love Hisam. Is as good as it gets, and I really, really, when we were talking about getting rid of him, I was like, oh, this is a bad idea.
I don't give a damn what he said. He could have said, my mama is fat, bald head, her booty stank. It sure do. And Rose still gotta go. Yeah, okay.
But also in that moment, because Hisam and I were starting to get closer, I didn't want to put myself in a position to where it was like, why are you fighting so hard to keep Hisam?
Right.
So I was saying, like, y'all, I don't think this is a good idea. And I didn't push it the way that I should have.
Yeah.
That for me is probably one of my biggest regrets in the game, because I really do feel like this is a totally different game if we keep Hisam in this game, because that means these guys have to work so much harder to get to where they need to go going to Hisam.
Right.
Like, we can give him a run for their money.
He was a true competitor, and had he stayed in the game, them 7 vetoes that Jag got, and then back and forth HOHs between Jared and Cameron, that wouldn't have happened, because Hisam would have been in the mix. Now, if we hadn't done it that week, would somebody probably have done it a week or two later? Maybe, but you never know. Hisam may have won the HOH and been able to put somebody else out that was trying to go after him. So there was a lot of bad moves that I think were made. Hindsight 2020. You never know how it would have played out. You just don't know.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll be back again because there is so much more meat from this live between Mimi and Felicia. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you smash the notifications because I'll be back very soon with more from this live and all the tea Felicia spilled postseason and her thoughts on the red vote flip and Jag and how she is looking at him differently now outside of the house.
If you like what you see